testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky. Gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky. Back when they thought pink polos would hurt the rock. Before Cam got the pop, the doors is closed. I felt like bad boy street team. I couldn't work the locks. Now let's go. Take them back to the plan. Me and my mama hopped in that U-Haul van. Any pessimists, I ain't talk to them. Plus I ain't had no phone in my apartment. Let's take them back to the club. At least about an hour.
What's up, everyone? We are back for segment number 2 for episode number 6. And we got a crazy topic to talk about. So this just happened. Jared Goff was just traded to the Detroit Lions for Matthew Stafford. And the Detroit Lions also got a couple of draft picks. So they got I believe the 3rd round draft pick in the 2021 draft, or this upcoming draft. And then they got 2022 and 2023 first round draft picks. So basically, the Los Angeles Rams don't have a first round draft pick until 2024. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the year I turn 29, I believe? No, I'm about 27. I'm basically turning into an old head by when basically the next time they get a first round draft pick. So my question is, first off, T, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel it was a smart move for either one parties or both parties? And tell me about the mindset of the Rams making a, I would say, desperate move like that.
So in my opinion, I feel like the Rams, they're known for this type of thing. Sean McVay has made it known that he doesn't care about picks. He likes to trade his picks with players that are well established, because you can get a first round pick and that first round pick not panning out, not amount to be anything. But he traded a few first rounders for Jalen Ramsey, and look how that turned out. And then you trade a few first rounders for Matt Stafford, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and it's definitely an upgrade. You go from Stafford to Goff for future first round picks, and the Rams were already in right now, win now mode, but right now they're potentially they're Super Bowl contenders, real contenders in my eyes. We finally give Stafford a defense, and then you give him Robert Woods, you give him Higbee, you give him Gerald Everett, you give him a few weapons, and the Rams can't put points on the board. That's why they didn't go anywhere. But you give Stafford a gunslinger, a guy that's not scared to throw the ball down the field, a guy that's durable. He plays through injuries. He plays well through injuries. And you get rid of Goff, who basically was a salary cap dump. He was up there making money with Mahomes, making money with Watson. He was getting paid a lot of money, and Probably. He hasn't done. Yeah, he doesn't have the numbers that any of these top 5 quarterbacks have. So it's definitely an upgrade, and it's definitely a good move on the Rams' part. I just want to see why if the Lions actually keep him. I don't think he'll be the Lions starting quarterback. I think they'll try to package him up and try to get potentially Watson or try to get somebody else.
Ooh, that's a bold take. So my opinion on this whole matter is, I feel like even though the Rams got Matthew Stafford, a capable quarterback, like you said, you basically hit the nail on the head with his durability, his arm strength. He's one of those. He's very underrated for a quarterback. Like, when you think of top quarterbacks in the league, you don't mention his name like that. Well, some people would, depending on if you're really a big fan of his. But he I think he was he's top 15 in passing yards of all time, I believe. So his resume speaks for itself. However, I think, and I do agree with you, this is not something that we've never seen before with Sean McVay. Let's not forget the year 2019. Sean McVay had a stacked defense with Aqib Talib, Ndamukong Suh. I think he had Clay Matthews that year. I'm not sure, but this was old Clay Matthews. And if not, he didn't. If he didn't have Clay Matthews, oh well. but he also had Marcus Peters. Like, he had a stacked defense. And this is something that we've never seen before, especially with Sean McVay. Like, he's a risk taker. He takes risks both on the field and off the field. However, I feel like I kind of like that. I think that the Lions. Well, first off, I know the Lions. I feel like the Lions won this trade only because of the draft picks. Yes, the draft picks can, it's possible that they can't pan out. You may have a, I don't want to say Dwayne Haskins type player, but like a JT Barrett type player, or you might have a DeMarcus Russell type player, someone who doesn't pan out for you, who you thought was a star, and you thought you saw something in them, and then it just didn't click. But who knows? You can arguably find your guy. You could find someone who you believe in and who's actually putting up numbers for you, who turns into a franchise player for you. So, that's just a luck of the draw. I think, honestly, the reason why I feel the Lions really won this is because they had nothing to lose, Matthew Stafford wanted out. He didn't want to stay there. He wasn't really, you gave him weapons on offense a little bit. This was his first year with DeAndre Swift. I like DeAndre Swift. I think he's going to be an awesome back in the league. I think he's going to be a top 10 back next year. That's a bold take from me, but I think he's going to be a top 10 back next year, especially with Jared Goff back there. And he has star potential. Let's not forget he had Kenny Golladay too. But that's it. He really have nobody on defense. Matthew Stafford's been in the league for a while, and he's never played with a top defense. Never. Even when Calvin Johnson was there, never played with a top defense. And I think they didn't want Matthew Stafford to do what Calvin Johnson did, because Calvin Johnson retired prematurely. Nobody saw that coming. I didn't see that coming. And I think they didn't want their it's talking about question. Is Matthew Stafford the all-time leading passer for the Lions? I believe he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so he's given a lot to that city, a lot to that team. I think they wanted to send him off right. But I also think that the Lions are not in a win now situation. In my opinion, they are in a good spot. But I do understand your trade with the Houston Texans. I do see that, being that the Houston Texans don't have a first round draft pick this year, and I don't even think they have. Do they have a second round? Don't quote me on this, but I don't think they
may. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even think they have a second round too. So they're looking bad, and they're not in a win down situation, but they're very desperate for picks. They need to rebuild that team. So who knows? Who's to say that JJ Watt might be in that deal too? For some draft picks, you give them two. They got 2 first round draft picks in the next upcoming years. You give a first round draft pick, Jared Goff, and probably 3rd round draft pick for Deshaun. Well, actually, no, because they gave up so much for Matthew Stafford. So Houston's definitely going to want. They're going to want the whole front office to come up with a crazy deal for Deshaun Watson. So, yeah. But how do you feel? I want to know, how do you feel about So you said like Jared Goff is not going to be the main guy. Like explain that. Like, tell me what do you really mean by it? Because you're a Jared Goff guy. Like, I don't think
that Goff is going to be a starter for the Lions next season. I think they're doing this to try to set up another move to be made. I'll be surprised if he starts next season with the Lions.
What draft pick do the Lions have this year? They have a top draft pick. Is it number 5? I know it's top 10. I know they definitely they got a high draft pick because matter of fact, I got it right here. They have the 7. They have the 7th draft, the 7th pick in next year's draft. So who's to say Who would they? Who do you think they would go after in that pick in that draft?
If you can't package that pick and get Watson, I think that if somehow Fields is still on the board, I would take Fields and I would get rid of Goff if I was their Lions. But I think that if they have their quarterback already set for next season, I think they'll get probably a linebacker or a lineman or someone.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they would look defensively as well. I don't think they would give up their guy Matthew Stafford for because they got drafted, so they got a backup plan. I just hope this pans out for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean they got a pretty good defense, and you was right. Like they really wasn't connected on offense. I like Cam Akers. He's very underrated. He showed out towards like the second half of the season. So and he can take a little bit of pressure off of Matthew Stafford. I believe so. I think they should definitely, if they have, I don't know like what their salary cap situation is, but I think they should definitely attack free agency. I didn't even. First off, I know this is like I want to say this is off topic, but being that we're talking about off-season trade moves, well, for them off-season, but moves and trades and pickups and all that. I didn't even know Kenny Golladay would be a free agent this year.
Yeah.
So I think, and there's rumor that he's going to the Ravens. So that's that will be tough, like a good tough. But as for Matthew Stafford, I think they should go after Chris Godwin. I think they should. Think about it. You think about it. Either Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson. I would rather them get Allen Robinson, because then you're giving Matthew Stafford someone close to Calvin Johnson that he had. And him and Calvin Johnson were crazy together. And Allen Robinson, like he's low key put up numbers with like trash quarterbacks. Like I said this on Twitter. I said, free my guy Allen Robinson. He's not in jail. He just had trash quarterbacks throwing him the ball. Free that man, yo. Like I think the Rams should, if they're really gonna go out. Like I like Robert Woods, but like sometimes like he's a little iffy for me. Tyler Higbee, he's a tight end. He had a good year this year, but like I really like he's not like a difference maker. Like I was gonna see Zach Ertz for a second. He's not a difference maker like a Travis Kelce. He's not a difference maker to me like a Darren Waller. Like he's not that type of difference maker. He's not a guy that's like, okay, we got to put two people on him. So I feel like they need a go-to guy, and that Rams team don't have a go-to guy. Their last go-to guy they had was Todd Gurley, and that's a running back. I mean, you saw what happened to him. So I think they should go after a receiver in this draft. They got a pretty decent O-line. Like their O-line is not bad, but they're not like top tier offensive linemen. They have a decent running back. They have good slot receivers. I don't see a pure number one receiver on that team. Robert Woods, like I said, he's some games he does tremendous, and then some games he just like goes missing. Cooper Kupp, I like him, but his problem is availability. Like he's always hurt. And I think Cooks was on Texans. He was on the Texans this year. I thought I don't know why I thought he was on the Rams, but in Higbee, I told you like Higbee could have a breakout game, and then the next game, like you don't know what you get from him. But he's a decent tight end, so I think they should go after a wide receiver. I don't see them going after Kenny Golladay. He's going to want too much money. So, but
Golladay to the Jags.
To the Jags. I wouldn't mind taking him to my Colts. Oh yeah, What if he goes to the Jets? Think about it. Here's a crazy
For him
scenario.
to go to the Jets, he'll go to play with Watson. He wouldn't go to play with Darnold.
Yeah, here's a crazy scenario. All right. So the Jets have a lot of money, right? Who's to say they have two options. They can buy all three. Actually, no, they won't have enough money for all this. They can either buy out Julio Jones' contract from Atlanta and then go after Deshaun Watson. Either way, both of my theories are going to end up with Deshaun Watson going to New York. So you can either buy out his contract and also basically buy out the contract for Deshaun Watson, which would their cap would be crazy. Or I think they should go this route, being that now Kenny Galladay, now that I found out Kenny Galladay is on free agency, they should go after Kenny Galladay, give him a lucrative deal, like give him a crazy deal, all right? Give him definitely a 4-year deal, and then go after Deshaun Watson and buy him. I think that would be the smarter way. But you know the Jets. The Jets are not used to making smart decisions. They go after their good. They go after their guys like the stars after their heydays. You know, you saw what he did with Frank Gore and Frank Gore. But oh no, they have a McClain one year too, or no Ogletree. They had Ogletree, and he wasn't really doing much for them. But I digress. I think that would be crazy. What do you think about that?
I think this offseason is going to be one of the most exciting off seasons because we'll see a lot of stars. It's not stars, but very good players changing teams, going to different cities.
I feel that potential. You can say potential stars because Kenny Galladay is a potential star. Potential.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay, Allen Robinson, potential. Kenny Galladay, he's had a good quarterback, but Allen Robinson, he's had a dustpan and a mop throwing him the ball. That's it. Yeah. But any final thoughts before we wrap this joint up? No. All right, we're. Oh, also before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to this podcast group called Rotated Views. For those who don't know, I was featured on one of their podcast episodes talking about, T4C and talking about basically how Thanks for Coming started. So when you get the chance, definitely check their podcast out. They talk about crazy things. They talk about sports. They have debates on current events. They talk about what's happening with the coronavirus and during the pandemic. So they talk about fitness. They talk about basically everyday life. So whenever you get a chance, definitely check them out. I'm gonna put their like a picture of their podcast on the video so that we have to check them out. But a huge shout out to Rotated Views for hooking a brother up and having me tell the story of the T4C. But other than that, that's the end of segment number 2. It was a quick zone. It was quick. We got our thoughts out there. As always, like, subscribe, follow, comment, reshare, retweet. I don't know how many times I can stress this, but we got 93 subscribers on YouTube. Whoever's the 100th subscriber, you're getting a crazy surprise. I'm not telling you what it is, but know you're going to get it. Other than that, I'm your host, Dan Corbett III, DC3. We got my guy, Terrence Lewis, T. Lou, Mr. Parlay here. If you need some, get right with my guy. He'll get at it, yep. But until next time, thanks for watching. And as always, thanks for coming.
Yes. Guess who's on third? Lupe still like Lupe in the third. Here like ear till I'm bitter on the curb. Peach fuzz buzz, but bitter on the verge. Let's slow it down like river on the serve. Bottle shaped body like Mrs. Butterworth. But before you say another word, I'm back on the block like I'm laying on the street. I'm trying to stop lying like I'm Rob, but I'm not lying when I'm laying on the beat. On guard, a touche, Lupe, cool as the unthawed, but I still feel possessed as a gun charge. To come as correct as a pawn star, and a fresh pair of steps and my best foreign car. So I represent the first. Now let me end my verse right where the horns are. Like, I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl.